Resistance is the greatest enemy. Imagine this. You wake up in the morning with big plans, determined to get everything done, but something mysterious holds you back. Suddenly Netflix seems more appealing, and that to-do list, well, maybe tomorrow. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Procrastination isn't just a lack of motivation. It's a powerful and invisible force that Steven Pressfield calls resistance. And here's the kicker. This force works against you every day, all the time, blocking your progress. And you know what's even more interesting? Only shows up when you're about to do something significant, something that could transform your life. Here's the secret. The bigger your goal, the greater the resistance. And what you do with that resistance will determine whether you become a successful person or someone who's always stuck in the cycle of procrastination. Now understand this, resistance is like that inner enemy we all carry around. It shows up in different ways, sometimes as fear, other times as distraction, or even as doubts about our own ability. But if there's one thing Pressfield teaches us, it's that you can't negotiate with resistance. It's not going to go away on its own, and every time you give in, it gets stronger. But the good news is, just like a storm that eventually passes, resistance can be defeated, but only if you're willing to face it head-on. So, what's the solution? Treat your battle against procrastination as a real war. Pressfield argues that to overcome resistance, you have to arm yourself with discipline and treat your projects with the seriousness of a soldier in battle. The key is to act like a professional, no matter how you feel. Professionals don't wait for inspiration. They do the work, day after day. Wake up, get the work done, and eventually you'll see that resistance starts to weaken. Trust me, you're not alone in this fight. Everyone faces resistance, but only those who choose to fight it manage to win. The importance of small habits. You've probably heard the phrase, big changes start with small steps, right? It might sound like a cliché, but James Clear has demystified the idea that radical changes are necessary to overcome procrastination. The reality is much simpler, but also powerful. If you're waiting for a big wave of motivation or an epic moment of transformation, forget that for a minute. The secret isn't in massive changes, but in small, almost imperceptible, daily improvements. And here's a truth that few people understand. Every tiny action you take toward your goal, even if it's just 1%, builds a solid foundation for big changes in the long run. And that's something you can start doing right now, today. What Clear suggests is that instead of focusing on unreachable goals, you should concentrate on micro-habits that are so small they can't possibly fail. Let's take a practical example. If you want to read more, don't start by trying to read a book a week. Instead, build the habit of reading just 2 pages a day. Sounds ridiculously simple, right? That's the point. These small victories accumulate over time, and before you know it, you'll be devouring books without even realizing it. The same goes for any habit you want to build, whether it's exercising, writing, or even organizing your life. Start small, stay consistent, and the results will come. The secret lies in repetition. When you repeat these small habits daily, something magical happens. They become automatic, part of your routine, without you having to think much about them. And the most incredible thing is that by changing these smaller habits, you inevitably start changing your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who is capable of accomplishing things. Someone who, no matter how small the action, is making progress every day. And that transformation is what, in the long run, destroys procrastination and brings you closer to your dreams. So the message is clear. Start small, keep moving forward, and watch the big change happen. Do the hardest task first. Picture this. You wake up with a long to-do list, but one of them, the one that really matters, seems especially intimidating. It hangs over your mind all day, draining your mental energy, even as you try to ignore it. Brian Tracy, in his book, Eat That Frog, cuts straight to the chase. The secret to beating procrastination is to start your day by tackling the very task you fear the most. He calls this eating the frog. And it couldn't be more counterintuitive. Who in their right mind wants to start the day by eating something so unpleasant? Here's the catch. When you face the hardest task first thing in the morning, you not only remove that mental weight, but also create momentum that carries you through the rest of the day. And this is exactly what many people need to unlock their potential. Tracy challenges us to change the way we see our priorities. Think of all the times you've pushed the most important task to the end of the day, only to find yourself exhausted by nightfall, with the task still unfinished. It's no coincidence that the most challenging tasks are also the ones we procrastinate on the most. That's because, deep down, we know they demand more from us. But by facing these challenges head-on, first thing in the morning, you not only boost your productivity, but also improve your self-esteem. The reason is simple. When you eat the frog, you feel a big victory early on, and that sense of achievement spreads to all other areas of your life. Apply this right now. Choose a task you've been avoiding. It could be that complex project at work, difficult conversation with someone, or even a decision you've been putting off. Tomorrow morning, before doing anything else, tackle that task. Yes, it may feel uncomfortable at first, but soon you'll realize that by eliminating the hardest task first, the rest of your day flows more smoothly. This daily practice of eating the frog trains your mind to be proactive and determined. Over time, you'll start to see big results. Eating the frog is never pleasant, but the rewards of this strategy are sweet. Using productive procrastination. Procrastination isn't something to feel guilty about. Yes, you read that right. Neil Fiore challenges this common belief in his book, The Now Habit, by introducing the concept of productive procrastination. Contrary to what many believe, procrastination isn't just an enemy to be defeated, but can be a powerful tool when used correctly. Think about it. How many times, while procrastinating on an important task, have you found yourself doing other productive things, like cleaning the house, responding to emails, or even starting a new project? Fiore believes this can be harnessed as a positive mechanism, allowing you to use these moments of procrastination intentionally and productively. The secret here is to shift your perspective. Instead of fighting procrastination, why not use it to your advantage? If you know you're going to procrastinate anyway, choose productive tasks that can be accomplished while avoiding the main one. This might sound counterintuitive, but by allowing yourself to do something constructive, you're still making progress, even if indirectly. For example, while procrastinating on that important report, you might organize your emails, clean your workspace, or even read something that's been on your list for a while. The goal is to keep moving and remain productive, even if it's not on the original task. Fiore encourages us to see procrastination as part of the process, not as a failure. When you remove the negative stigma associated with procrastination, it loses its power over you. The focus then shifts from an internal struggle to smart time management. If you know you're going to procrastinate, choose tasks that still have value. Instead of being paralyzed by guilt, embrace the idea that not every moment is for big accomplishments, but even small advancements are valid. In the end, you'll feel more accomplished, and who knows, after seeing everything you've managed to do while procrastinating, you might even feel motivated to tackle the main task with less resistance. Procrastinate, yes, but do it productively. Procrastination equation. Have you ever wondered why, even though you know what needs to be done, you just can't seem to start? It's almost like a puzzle. You know you should be taking action, but something's holding you back. Piers Steel cracked this mystery with the procrastination equation, a simple formula that reveals the reasons behind task delay. The equation goes like this: procrastination equals expectancy x value, impulsiveness x delay. Does that seem complicated? It's really not. This formula reveals that the higher your expectancy of success and the value you place on a task, the less likely you are to procrastinate. However, if you're highly impulsive and the reward of the task seems far off, procrastination takes control. Let's make this more practical. Let's say you have an important project due in 3 months, but the reward or benefit from that project seems distant. You know it's important, but there's a disconnect between the effort now and the future reward. Steele argues that in this case, your impulsiveness and the perceived delay undermine your motivation. On the other hand, if the task has immediate value and you believe you can execute it successfully, the equation shifts in your favor and procrastination decreases. This explains why small tasks with quick rewards, like responding to an email or making a phone call, are much easier to complete than long-term projects. The key to overcoming this is to adjust the elements of the equation. You can increase your expectancy of success by breaking a large task into smaller, more manageable pieces. The more you break it down, the more achievable it seems. Additionally, you can increase the value of the task by associating it with a more immediate reward. If you need to finish a report, for example, promise yourself a coffee break or a relaxing moment after completing each section. This approach keeps your motivation high, driving you to overcome procrastination. Steele teaches us that by understanding the factors contributing to procrastination, you can manipulate them in your favor and finally start taking action. Now that you have a powerful collection of tools to beat procrastination, question is, are you ready to put them into practice? Think about the internal battles you've already fought, the times resistance won, and the days when small tasks piled up because of inaction. How would your life change if, instead of being dominated by procrastination, you could master it? Imagine what you could accomplish if you started applying these concepts today. The next step is simple but transformative. Choose one concept that resonated with you and start now. Maybe you decide to eat the frog in the morning, or perhaps you start with small habits that accumulate over time. Maybe you need to adjust the procrastination equation in your life, or use productive procrastination to your advantage. Whatever the technique, the important thing is to act. Remember, every small victory builds a new identity, a new mindset, that of someone who can achieve what they set out to do. And now I ask you, what will your next step be? Are you willing to challenge procrastination and rewrite your productivity story? If so, I want you to commit to this new path. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so we continue this journey together, always bringing new insights, strategies, and inspiration to help you reach your biggest goals. After all, you're not alone. We're in this journey together, and the best is yet to come. Let's start now.